Hi guys, I have a few questions for you. Have you ever rejected anyone based on their skin tone, or maybe based on a particular stereotype you would have dated or chosen someone? Let's say maybe based on what was deemed beautiful at that time, you would have made your choices. Have you yourself been described as someone who is of a particular personality? Have you been termed as aggressive, maybe because you are of a darker skin tone, or maybe stuck up because you are of a lighter skin tone? Well, today we're going to discuss that, and joining me is Denicia. I will allow her to introduce herself.
But they can never be you, they know they can't have you, so they wanna abuse you. I want you, I want you. The amount of guys they can't handle me. Everybody hating, that's for sure. But we are sure this, that's why you're never growing up. Baby, baby, I wanna be.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Lee, and I'm back with another video. It's another episode of talking about what affects us in the Black community. I'm happy that you joined us, and if this is your first time on this channel, my name is Shelly Fullerton and I'm a lifestyle vlogger. If you haven't subscribed as yet, I invite you to subscribe and hit that post notification bell. Welcome to the family, cousins. And if you're returning, thank you so much for the love and support.
Hi everyone, my name is Denicia. I am Shelly's friend and we go to the same church. I'm just here, to join in the discussion. I'm a final year student and I have a small business and it's called Threaded TT. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok and Facebook, and I hope you like the products that I have.
Affecting the Black community more than racism. Have you experienced colorism?
Days,
yeah,
I would remember being called things like black attack and those kind of things,
yeah,
from the primary school children. And I personally did not think that I was that dark at that time, if you know what I'm saying. When I fast forward to now, and I can't remember any instances where I would have experienced colorism, but it might have been so subtle that I would not have realized.
I understand what you're saying, because I would have faced, well, I'm from Guyana, in case most of you don't know, now residing in Trinidad, and in Guyana, some of you may disagree with me on this, there's a lot of racism. It's stemming between the two main races, the East Indian and the Afro-Guyanese, right? It is this thing about color. It's like if you are of a higher complexion, you can work in certain places. If you are darker, you can't get jobs if you have a darker skin tone. And I believe colorism is stemmed from racism, stemming from when our foreparents were enslaved. When we think that racism, I don't think racism is affecting us that much as colorism is. I mean, in Trinidad, I haven't experienced racism. And when I first came to Trinidad, it was like a culture shock to me to see like black people working in the bank and darker skin tone people working in the bank. When in Guyana, back then, to be working in the bank, you had to be of a lighter skin tone. But nevertheless, from here, I haven't really experienced racism. But colorism, I think it's dangerous within the Black community. I don't find people attacking us much most on our race, but most of our color, whether you're a darker skin tone or a lighter skin tone within the Black community. So let us address this.
I hear you when you say you have not experienced racism here. I remember going to a program. There was some old lady and they made a comment and I was so shocked. It was the most racist comment. I could not believe it, and that was just a few years ago. And that was like the worst racism that I would have ever experienced, because of course she's referring to us. Yeah.
Oh my
It was
God.
the worst
But to
experience.
backtrack on that, I am thinking that you will find racism within the older folks. The generation now, it's not so evident. The older generation, like great grandparents, they will have this thing in them about, oh, you're not to date this dark skinned girl, you're not, or we'll disown you, you're not to talk to this person who has curly hair, we'll disown you. But the strange thing is, when somebody tell you that you're pretty, especially if you have a dark skin tone, right? They may say your hair is nice, but followed by, so what you mix
girl.
with? Yeah, you're nice for a black girl. Like,
Oh, yeah.
what do you mean by you're nice for a, what do you mean when you say that you're nice for a black girl? Black girls are pretty just like light skinned girls are pretty. If our hair is soft or of a different texture, it is still pretty. So have you experienced like when people come up to you and say you have nice hairs, what you mix with?
No, I have actually not experienced that. Mentioned before, the colorism is a subset of racism. So even though I don't think that it doesn't exist as much among the younger folks, I just think it's not as overt. Within themselves, they're still racist. Of course, it's taught to them by their grandparents and their parents.
Definitely.
But they're not as vocal. Some is okay, Indians versus Africans.
Yeah.
The colorism now is within the African community.
Yeah.
So now we have a divide between a light-skinned black person versus a dark-skinned black person. And within the community, black men, for example, some of them, they would not go for a dark black girl. They would prefer light-skinned women, and there are songs about it and so many different things, and they try to pass it off as preference, but it's deeper than that.
But I just want to compliment her that her hair is beautiful though. I've been admiring her hair for a while now.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Going back to the colorism in our community, I think, look how it has affected our community this much that on a job interviews, they will remember you as, you see that dark skinned girl or the light skinned girl, that's how they refer to you. It is all a mentality. We have to look at how we can really stop this within the black community. Yes, it is a fact that we have a lighter skin tone. There are different shades of our complexion, but when we're going to start taking preferences because of your skin tone, then is where it's not good. It's not going to be good, So it's like you're giving certain person of a lighter skin tone certain position. It could be the class rep, or they could represent the country, or they can have a certain position in the organization. Even within our homes, you may find parents having preferences with a child who is of a lighter skin tone, and then you may find the other siblings now started to feel left out.
It even gets to a point where some children hate their skin tone, they hate the texture of their hair. Just the other day I was scrolling on Facebook. I'm in this natural hair group on Facebook, and one of the girls were explaining that her hair was relaxed when she was 5 years old, and well, she's an adult now, and she decided to do a big chop and embrace her curls, and her mother told her why she wanted to have that N-word hair and that kind of thing, and she says her mother has curly hair, right? Her mother has the type 3 hair, and her mother was telling her, well, I should have never relaxed your hair when you were small if I know you like that N-word hair. Looked into the comments now, and people were saying just what I thought, that most likely her mother would have experienced the same thing, and she described her mother's hair as a type 3 kind of douglas hair. I may not be sure, but it seems as if that was the mother's experience, that she probably had Indian parents whose hair was bone straight, but because she might be a little darker in complexion and her hair is a little curlier, they give her that connotation. And then the colorism is ingrained in her. She doesn't like her skin tone, she doesn't like the texture of her hair. So she has a young child at 5 years old, relax her child hair from age 5. And now that the child decides to go natural, the cycle just continues.
So you see the effect there of texturism and colorism. They have an effect on someone, and then they passed it on to the generation. And let me look within the Caribbean. Certain people, they don't appreciate their skin tone, and you know what, they will alter it, and they will think that by altering their skin tone now they're able to get better deals, they will be recognized. Stems from a feeling of inferiority. That stems from feeling inferior, and that passed on from way back when our foreparents were enslaved, and they were given these hard labors. They weren't valued, they were just seen as dirty, so they were out there to do anything. So that passed on to even this time, where people see darker skin tone of not being of a particular value. And when you're talking about mental slavery, I think we are still mentally enslaved, because we are not totally liberated. Why do you feel you need to alter your skin tone to be recognized or to be loved?
I can understand, some people use lightening creams for spot treatment, that's to treat acne scars
Yes.
and certain discoloration.
Yeah.
But it crosses the line now. You're using these creams and these serums and whatever to be lighter than you are. And we have to really search ourselves and think about whether we really appreciate our skin tone. Not necessarily the skin tone that we have, but the skin tones of our darker counterparts, our lighter counterparts. When it comes to relationships, we also have to think about the reason why I'm going for a woman of lighter skin. A preference? Or is it because of some kind of preconception I have about a darker skinned black woman?
We could just want to let you all know that it's not only dark skinned girls suffer or colorism. Even the lighter skinned girls, they have all these songs about red woman, this and that. And you have a darker skin tone and you come before the judge, it's a longer prison sentence for you. And if you have a lighter skin tone, you can commit the same crime that darker skin tone person committed. I'm just exaggerating. 5 days in prison or a month, when the other person has life in prison or 5 years in prison. Why? Because they are of a darker skin tone and they feel like that person could serve more time in prison.
You see a lot of that in America, but I feel like locally as well, there's some sort of chat, that even I feel like some law enforcement officers use in Trinidad itself to, divide or determine who might be a bandit or who looking like a bandit.
Like racial profiling, or maybe not.
But in terms of the color, people want to change their texture just to be seen a certain way.
Or just to fit in a particular category.
Our lighter skinned black folks have privilege, right? They have light skin privilege in terms of dating and relationships, whether it's a job, whether it's some kind of program, and you ask for black representation, and usually the photographers would take pictures of lighter skinned black girls as a representation of the entire black community. As lighter colored black people, I can't say we because I consider myself a dark skinned black
and beautiful.
Black and beautiful, yes.
Yes,
but
we have the melanin popping over here.
Yes. But if you have a lighter skin, you have to consider what privilege you have. How could you use that privilege to benefit your darker counterpart? Basically have
advantage.
Yeah, you have an advantage. So in order to take advantage of the advantage that you have, in order to benefit others, think about what you could do. A conversation, since your voice is more likely to be heard. Action where you decide to include others. Different things that you can do as a lighter skinned person to share that privilege, and so that you can benefit a wider
point. Well taken. We understand now that colorism is prevalent in the black community, and now we want to see how we can change the narrative. Starting with, they say you can't bend the tree when it's already old, so you have to start when it's young. And just like how you can ingrain in your child about this nice hair, whatever you listen, hair, all the hair nice, okay? So just like how you can instill in your child at an early age, but this hair nice and this hair nice, we need to start now letting our young people know that they're beautiful just the way they are.
Yes,
right?
Correct.
Yeah, that is how we can begin to change the narrative and let everybody know that we're all the same, we're all God's creation. It's not that because I'm darker, I'm not God's child, or because you're lighter, you're not God's child. We're all the same. So if we can begin to value people individually and for their personality and for what they contribute, then I think we can begin to change the narrative of, colorism and segregation in the community.
Yes, and we could also speak life into our children. The example that I gave earlier, instead of making it seem like, you know, your natural hair is not good enough, you teach your children to embrace their natural hair. We even have to teach ourselves, you know, if we realize, okay, wow, I'm really affected by the texture of my hair, or I'm even frustrated when my type 4 hair is not curling like other hair types. We have to embrace the texture of our hair, we have to embrace the color of our skin, so that we can even pass it on to the younger generation. Even if it's not our children, we speak life into them.
Yeah.
Let them feel like they are beautiful, their hair is beautiful, their skin is beautiful. I am black, I am beautiful.
Exactly, yeah, to speak affirmations to yourself.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think this was a fruitful discussion. I'm sure there was so much more we want to talk about, but time wouldn't permit. And we're happy to have Denise here on the channel. And make sure to go check out our Instagram page at
threaded.tt on Instagram.
beautiful robes and hair bonnets and all those things that you're gonna see. You can share your opinion down below. Be respectful about it. Have you experienced colorism before? Texturism? Let us know. I'll be happy to see you engaging in the comment section. So thank you so much for watching. If you've made it to the end of this video and you haven't subscribed as yet, do subscribe, hit that post notification bell. Until then, stay safe guys. Bye.
Bye.
Temperature. Oh yeah, I got a table for two. I got everything I want, but